Imposter syndrome, part 2. Last time, we have identified that imposter syndrome is caused by high perfectionism, by the fact that we are seeing everybody else with pink glasses, that we are not noticing that they're flawed, a high sense of achievement. However, when we have too much imposter syndrome, because a little one will make us work better and harder, which is great. It will keep us on our toes. But if you have too much, you lose your compass for confidence. And if you lose your confidence, you're always running at low fuel. It drops performance. You get anxious and you're not happy with yourself. So today, we're going to look at some tools in order to face that imposter syndrome and what to do when it happens. So the very first piece is to identify it. It's just be brave and say, you know what? Yeah, that's me right there. Yeah, I get it. I am an imposter. I feel like an imposter, and start talking about it in the past and say, you know what? I used to feel like an imposter. And now I'm willing to step into my own capacity. I'm willing to step into my own identity and then to know that I am good enough. Like I'm not good enough. Negative self-talk has got to go. So the first piece is to acknowledge and say, you know, I used to think like that. And now I'm in the process of becoming more confident. I'm in the process of learning how it will feel to feel that I'm good enough. So the first piece is to be brave. Next, you want to identify the trigger. When exactly are you triggered into thinking that you are not good enough? Is it when you compare yourself with others? Is it when somebody gives you a compliment and you're like, oh my gosh, if they knew? Is it when you are trying something new and you feel this is not for me, I can never do that? So when exactly do you feel like an imposter? Exactly when is the button pushed? So if you identify the button, then we can do something about this button after, okay? So once you've identified when specifically you're being triggered of feeling like an imposter, then you start disconnecting and separating the feelings from the facts. And you're going to see in part 3 different questions that you can ask yourself in order to do that. So we need to separate the feelings from the fact and realize that these feelings that are coming into our brain and that we are feeling in our heart, and sometimes that comes in with fear, the imposter syndrome, right? Sometimes it comes in with hurt because we're not sure we can do this. Sometimes it's sadness because we feel yucky, because we feel that we're not good enough. So when these emotions come in, we have to quickly develop a healthy response to that trigger by disconnecting the emotion from the fact. So ask yourself, what exactly is happening right now? And is this true? What is my emotion right now? What am I feeling? And once you feel a powerful emotion, it means that you have something to learn. So always ask yourself, what am I learning? And how do I choose to respond to this feeling? If I tell this feeling that, oh my gosh, it means that I'm not good enough, I'm never gonna end up doing anything good, I will never ask for this job, I will never ask for this girl to go out with me, I'm never going to be able to amount to anything in life because I'm just not good enough. So when this happens, what you have to do is look back and say, wait a minute, what have I been able to do so far? Is there something that I can remember that actually I'm pretty good? So look at the facts. Keep a journal maybe of good things that you have done. Have a have done list of all the things that you have done. Think about the things that you have achieved in the past. And this will help you separate those feelings from the facts, because the facts are, you're probably pretty darn good, okay? And then we have to replace the trigger by something else, an incident response plan. So when somebody pushes that trigger, or when something happens in the environment that all of a sudden, because we're not feeling like a fraud all the time, we're not. It just goes and comes back, and it goes and it comes back. So when this trigger is pushed, we want to replace it. Identify the trigger means every single time I feel this way, this is what I'm going to be doing. So you create a plan and you rehearse it in your head and you act on that plan. So let's say that every single time that I'm surrounded with very successful people, I feel very small and I feel like a fraud and I feel, I don't belong here. What's going on? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to act. And my act is going to be, okay, I belong here. I have obviously done something that justifies for me to be here. I'm here, aren't I? Right? So once you have established what it is that you want to do, what are the things you should tell yourself, because you've created this incident response plan. These are the things I'm going to tell myself. Things like, I've succeeded with this before. I have been able to do this before. I was pretty good at going from scratch when I created my business, and now I'm better than I was before. So by listing all the things that you've accomplished, all the things that you want to tell yourself when you're in a situation, you have this list ready, and then you go on with this list. And actions change things. So what is it that you can do right in the moment that will make you feel like you belong? What is it that you're going to do? And rehearse this plan and visualize it. And in part 3, I will actually walk you through a full visualization to reprogram the 6 layers of your brain in order to reconnect your incident response plan so that it happens all the time unconsciously every single time that the trigger point is being pushed. So next time we will see that visualization together, and at the same time we will also see 3 different powerful questions plus that mental exercise to eliminate imposter syndrome. So I will see you there in part 3.